Hey everybody, welcome back to this series on how I make Pokemon Challenge videos. Today we're going to be going over both how I edit the audio, both the audio editing and the audio effects stuff, as well as actually setting up the cuts. That won't make much sense until you actually see my process, but that'll actually be in Premiere, which is my video editor of choice. Like usual, all you need for these steps are a video editor or an audio editor, but we are getting into that part of the series where what I'm doing is a little bit specific to my software on how exactly I'm doing it, but you could do this in basically any video or audio software. I can't really give you any advice on like free video editing software because I don't use any free stuff. I use Adobe Premiere Pro. I've used Premiere ever since high school, so it's just what I know how to use. Whereas with audio stuff, if you're looking for a free one, Audacity, if you just Google that, it'll probably be the first result. And that software works pretty well for people. So if we jump over to Adobe Audition here, we can see that this is just the completed voiceover of what you watched me record a bit of in the previous episode. This is an entirely unprocessed audio clip. This is literally just what I recorded from the microphone. Normally, the moment I'm done recording is when I would put my effects on, but just for the sake of being able to show you some of this stuff, I decided to keep it like this. So this is what I do. My actual process for this, my process switches a lot on how exactly I do this, but Control A to select everything. On effects, I already showed you how to do white noise removal on the previous episode for like typical software. What I do and what I just started doing recently is if I go to restoration, here we go. RX7 voice denoise. This is like an adaptive noise removal that does a really good job. I find it's a little bit better than my usual white noise removal stuff that I do. So if you have a whole bunch of money to drop on this, you can do it, but really the majority of people probably aren't going to need this. But all I'm doing there is it's getting rid of a little bit of the background hiss and everything in the entire audio clip. In the same way that the white noise removal I showed you before worked, is just instead of giving it an example of the white noise, this one figures it out on its own. It's slightly faster and does a slightly better job. Really, you'd only find this useful if you do this as a career, and even then I wouldn't even say that you need it. It's just nice if you're way too much of a perfectionist like I am. Okay, that effect is done now. So the next one that I like to do is, once again, we're doing another VST one, although this one's free if you want to go get it. The Marvel GEQ equalizer from Voxengo. I have no idea if that's how you pronounce that, but it's just like a free plugin pack. There are lots of different EQ things in the world. This is one that I threw together live on stream, actually, with a bunch of you guys. We did a 3-hour audio testing stream of just nudging a lot of these different frequencies higher and lower and seeing what you guys thought of it. You guys were really happy with this. This will probably get changed a lot. Again, if you copy this exactly, you're probably going to get very different results from me. Equalization is taking different frequencies of the noise going into the microphone and raising it or lowering it by different volumes. This is probably all complete gibberish to people who don't do audio work. Honestly, even with all the audio work I've done, it's a completely imperfect science in terms of figuring this stuff out. Really, you just need to toy around a lot, but if you're just doing your average Pokemon challenge and everything, or even your average video, don't even worry about equalization. That isn't the kind of thing that you really need to be worrying about. It's just something that I do because I am way too much of a perfectionist when it comes to sound. I actually have a hotkey set up on my keyboard of 7, which will apply both of those two effects we just did side by or back to back so that I don't need to manually go through all these menus every time. Now I'm going to drag my file into my match loudness tool. This is something that Adobe Audition has. I don't know what else has something equivalent to this. But basically, it's just going to try and raise the volume. You can see it's negative 35 lufs. That's like a weird calculation of perceived loudness, but not literal loudness. So what I'm doing there is I'm just telling it to bring it up to the podcast standard, which is like negative 16. Not to be confused with decibels. It's not the same thing as decibels, as you can see. You can see the audio graph just got a lot fatter. And it usually sounds better after doing this. It applies a bit of different kinds of processing and stuff, but it does also tend to bring up the noise floor a lot, which would be like hissing background noise. Now, I get a lot of that removed through my white noise removal, as well as just how my audio setup is in the room. But I do sometimes find that I need to apply it twice. So let's just listen back to this real quick. Let's take a moment here where, yeah, this is a good clip because I'm talking at an even volume. We'll see what it sounds like. And then it goes into some silence. And I see a lot of messiness in there. That might have been me inhaling, though. Let's listen. Metapod hit a few string shots and wasted... Okay, it sounds okay, but yeah, there is a very, very, very slight ambient hiss and hum to it. You might not hear it. I have a pretty good headset on. It's very, very subtle, and again, it's just because I'm a perfectionist. I've hotkeyed the denoise thing again, and I do like to do that one last time on the way out, just because I find it doesn't make my voice sound weird. It does a really good job. It doesn't make my voice sound weird, but it does get rid of that little bit of hiss. So, it's worth pointing out, by the way, you're going to want to save all of these effects you're doing to a different file. I call it just the same file name, but processed at the end. That way you always have that original clean version of your audio in case you mess up any effects and you need to go back and do it again. You know, you never want to botch your original recording or else you're going to have to go re-record it if anything weird happens. But that's the whole process I do on the audio. This will probably come out sounding good. But I actually have like new audio cables and stuff coming in, so little eccentricities are going to change over time. But this is just general what I do right now, and it's probably not going to change very much. This part probably not super helpful for you guys outside of understanding what it generally looks like and to do white noise removal because it's just a smart idea. Let's listen back to this now that we've applied that. Metapod hit a few string shots and wasted 5 of our psi waves, but never could hurt us. Kakuna is second, and although that sounds a lot cleaner, I really like that. So I'm just going to Shift Control S to, come on, Shift Control S. That was my Windows noise, not yours. Just to rename it. And I'm just going to go processed. So we're saving that as its own file. And any second now, come on, don't you 1 second, then 2 second, then 0 second at me. There we go, we did it. So now all I'm gonna do is we jump over to Premiere. I've already created, this is my project folder where I do like all of my runs. As you can see, like you can see along here, it's previous runs and everything, and you can see like, I have a finished run here, and that's generally what my edit looks like at the end because I like to make it really, really clean. But we're going to go on this is my sequence for the video we're about to do. So first, we're going to grab my processed voiceover and just bring it into what we're working with here. Going to drag it down into my timeline, and I'll tuck that away in the Gold Mischievous footage folder for now. So we can see here, we have the whole thing right here. All good and ready to go. In fact, I'll Control S, save early, save often. It's just smart. Some people have a lot of crashing issues with this software. We can see on the right that our timeline here is 24 minutes, 28 seconds. It's actually going to be much shorter once we cut out all my flubs, especially in the first like 6 or so minutes, the stuff that you watched me record last time, because I took so many asides to like talk to the camera that, that's going to be in this audio track as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit like 5 minutes of this or something, and you're just going to be able to watch me do that. You can skip ahead if you want to, but I'm just going to show you how I edit the audio, first of all, and then we're going to set up the cuts. Normally, I would do these things on different days. For the sake of having these things come out consistently, every day in a Pokemon challenge, I try to aim to beat about 2 gyms. That way, I have 4 days of beating 2 gyms, and then I have 1 day where I just finish off the game, beat like the Elite Four and the Pokemon Champion, and if there's a post-game fight, I'll try for it. In some gens, that does just take the 5 days. In other gens, it takes longer. But at the same time, I'm also breaking my edit into 5 chunks. So the first one would be record audio day, then edit audio day, set up cuts day, insert footage day, and then it's the final day, which is marker edits and soundtrack. And those will make sense once we get to them. There'll be videos on all this stuff. So we're actually going to do 2 days worth of editing today, but it's not, that sounds like it's a lot of editing. It's not actually. Both of these tasks of setting up the cuts and editing the audio should probably take less than an hour. in most cases. It's just, I've been doing a video a day minimum for a decade, so I had to break these things into small chunks so that I have time to do all of my other stuff today. Like, at the day that I'm recording this video, I'm also doing a Bannerlord stream later on Twitch, so I've got to make sure I have enough time for that. So, you're probably gonna, if you're gonna pay attention to this audio editing stuff, you're probably gonna want to watch my face a lot, just because it'll help you tell the difference between when I'm talking to you and when we're literally just running the timeline and editing it. So have fun watching a little bit of this. It's not the most interesting in the world, but we'll see how this goes. All right, button, and let's get going, because we don't need to go pause the recording. Oh, when I go fast audio there and it sounds kind of reverby, that's me hitting L on my keyboard to play at double speed. This is something you get used to when you're editing a lot, just to edit faster. Off and on, over and over. We'll do that editing tomorrow. You'll flub a lot of lines, by the way. I flub lines constantly. Don't worry about it. Just do the line again if it was weird. Hey everybody, Mah-Dry-Bread here. There we go. I was rambling too much. All right, so I'm going to cut everything before that, and I'm just right-clicking the empty space and hit Ripple Delete. That just moves everything over. Hey everybody, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Fire Red with only one Kabuto was... I must have hit something on my desk there. Did you hear that? That's great. I didn't even remember doing that. Fucking avalanche. That happens too if you live in a house. Some, noises happen from outside. That's I think Fatima like dropped a vacuum in the other room or something. Was that really that loud? Here, Pokemon Fire Red with only one Kabuto was, yeah, that was really loud. That happens too if you live in a house. Some, noises happen from outside. I don't even know if that was audible for you, but it vibrated the room. Hey everybody, Mah-Dry-Bread. All right, yeah, cut everything before that. Hey everybody, Mah-Dry-Bread here. This happens all the time, by the way. Pokemon Fire Red with only one Kabuto. Nope. Pokemon Fire Red. Okay, where'd I start that line here? Right here? All right, drag it back. There we go. Pokemon Fire Red with only one Kabuto. That sounded weird. Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon... It's because I let a little bit of air out there and that was weird. Here we go. Let's try this. Hey everybody, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Fire Red. That's much better, especially when there's going to be music over it. You're not even going to notice that it's slightly awkward sounding. There's a lot of that you're going to have to do in audio editing, of just cleaning things up a little bit here and there. With only one Kabuto was really weirdly hard by the end, but we're... Nope. Right there. Cut that. By the way, these cuts, the fact that I'm editing this in Premiere and not Audition, it's going to be very important for the next step. So if you're planning to just edit the audio and cut out all the flubs in the audio software, then things aren't going to work out quite as cleanly on this next step. Again, this is just my production flow. You do it however you want. But we're... Watch it. But we've been using... Here we go. Let's try that. But we've been using way too many rock types, so let's go in a totally other direction. Today's the day that we figure out what... Okay, now here's where I want to set up a marker. Today's the day that we figure out... Right on that W, I'm going to hit M, which is set marker. There's also a button for it here. This is title. That's where I'm going to put in the title card. Would I be able to beat Pokemon Gold with a team of only one Mischievous? Give it a moment, and then I'm going to drop a marker here. This is usually where I talk about the stats, right? You'll notice that what I'm saying is not always perfectly matching up. Oh, no, I talked to the camera there more. Up with the text on screen, by the way. That's totally normal. Don't worry about it. However you talk, your personality is important. I don't write exactly how I talk. And so I'd rather speak it how I would speak it rather than speak it how I would write it. That's what you want. If you're ad-libbing to make it more natural, that's a good thing. Keep doing that. Mischievous is going to be a weird one. Stats wise. Here we go. Sorry, I talk so much to the camera. Mischievous is going to be a weird one. Stats-wise, she isn't amazing and isn't awful. Sorry, not the best mic discipline in the world. I shouldn't have looked away there, but I want. She doesn't really excel. Weird one. Okay. Stats-wise and isn't awful. Yeah, and then I was talking to the camera there, so we'll bring this in. There we go. So yeah, that was stats. So I'm just leaving these little markers for myself so that on the last day of editing, I can come back in and fill in these blanks, right? She doesn't really excel or fall behind too hard in anything. Her real... And then a horn was honking outside. It's just one of the... Wait, can you hear that on the audio thing? Her real... The tiniest tiny bit. And then a horn was honking outside. It's just one of those days, everybody. As soon as it's a nice day out, every noise from outside starts coming in. Her only attacking... Nope, I think I started on the line right. Nope, I think Her real weakness is... See, that's the kind of thing that even gets cut out of the video. Like, I think I would have cut that out of the previous video, even me botching that. Look, it doesn't matter how long you do this. You'll flub lines. Don't worry about it. It's natural. So where did I pick back up here? Her real weakness is that... Her real weakness. Okay. She doesn't really excel or fall behind too hard in anything. Her real... So right here. anything. Her real weakness is that in Gen 2 she can hardly learn any attacking moves. Her only... Ooh, so here's where I talk about moves, so I want to put another marker. This is level up moves. Her real weakness is that in Gen 2 she can hardly learn any attacking moves. Her only real attacking move until level 27 is Psywave. An inaccurate the only real attacking move until level 27 is Psywave. Okay, let's show the picture for Psywave. I hate that move. Psywave. An inaccurate garbage move that does mostly random damage. And the only same type attack bonus move we can learn... Nope, gotta try that line again. And the only same type... Yeah, gotta try that. And the only same damage. Can I get it right here and make this sound clean? Random damage. And the only same type... Yeah, that sounded okay. Type attack bonus move we can learn isn't until we beat the 4th gym. Our type coverage is... Oh, nope, watch that. That happens a lot too. Just getting the first, word weird. 4th gym. Our type coverage is going to be awful. By the way, if you ever watch a line, you don't necessarily have to do the whole line again. Oh, yeah. Let's dive into the camera there. Let's skip that. Just start from the last time you took a pause quickly. There's a chance that it'll sound a little bit weird in the recording when you listen after the you're like, oh, I can't really fix this. And so, just give it a redo line. You can redo a line well after the recording. I didn't think this through. Process. I do fixer lines, as I call them, all the time. But once every few Pokemon challenges, I'll have to get a fixer line, line right. Everybody watch and realize it in the moment. Like always, I'm writing... Here we go. Script on screen part. So this is script on screen. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through the challenge, so all this part is being written before I started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I think that I could win the run with enough time, but I might not be... But I might not have... this one. But I might not have... But I might not have is where I botched that. I think that I can win the run with enough time, but I'm... Here we go. Right where that pauses. Let's try that. With enough time, but I might not have good enough... That's not too awkward. With music, that'll sound normal. Type coverage to be able to beat red. Let's explain the rules. In combat... Oh, rules. So here's when I always do it normal speed. Rules. Because I know exactly when I like to pop rules up, so I can sync it up later based on this. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Mischievous. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe, ring the bell. Nope, couldn't even get that line out. But you see, I was hitting M there every time I knew I was going to pop something up in the rules. It's just so that I have a visual marker for later. Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe, ring the bell. Botching my own lines I say every time. Also, if you enjoyed the video... Here we go. This is the good take, right? Loud. Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. Okay, and I like to give this just a little bit of space to breathe before we go into the challenge proper. So I'm going to drop one more marker called Start. I like to make a different color just so I can see where the gameplay really starts. So right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Chikorita with Mr. so that we can do the whole run with it. Now, this is the point from now on when I don't make as many, densely packed markers up there. This is where whenever I talk about something where I know I'm gonna, slide it in on screen or, have a text on screen, fixing line or something, that's when I would put a marker and remind myself for later, for the most part. I feel like I should be looking at the camera for this. But I totally shouldn't. I should be looking at the script. I replaced Chikorita so that... Here we go. I replaced Chikorita with Mischievous so that we can do the whole run with it. I replaced Chikorita so that my rival would have Typhlosion. Sorry, I spelled Typhlosion way wrong there. Did I? Replaced Chikorita so that my... Okay. Here we go. Let's try this. Run with it. I replaced Chikorita so that my rival would have Typhlosion. I figured that it's... And then drag that there. So you get a rhythm for this on reading your own waves here and realizing what you're doing here. Right there's probably a breath, to have Typhlosion. I figure that it's probably the hardest for us to fight. I name him Weird Ghastly or Weird Gastle as it fits because I name him. Okay, where did I say I name him? I name him right here. I leave that breath in though because it sounds natural because I just breathe heavy. I name him Weird Ghastly, or Weird Gastle, as it fits, because that's hilarious. There we go. I'm legitimately really happy with that stupid name. So while I get to the first... Alright. I think that's enough that you guys have a pretty good idea of how to edit the audio. So we're going to skip ahead in time a little bit. Just give me 20, 30 minutes here, and I'm going to real quick finish the audio edit so I can show you how to set up the cuts. Because this is a pretty unique thing. This is probably why I edit these way faster than most people. All right, we fast-forwarded almost an hour. I got distracted with some other work, and we have it all done. We have the audio edited. So you can see it's just all these little cuts of every time I flubbed and bringing everything back in to get rid of all the the dead space that creates. And it looks like it's about 16 minutes long. So, you guys know that I like to base things around the voiceover because this is telling a story of the playthrough that I did. And so I like to pace everything based on the voiceover. This is something that I do that a lot of other Pokemon Challenge YouTubers don't do, and I think it's why my production flow is so smooth. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a photo file. You could do this with literally any visual file. So it could be a video file or a picture or anything. I personally just use this file here. You could use any picture, but this is the picture of my my background. So I just drag that over the whole timeline, right? So if we go back to the beginning, yeah, it's over the whole thing. And then I'm going to go to my start point and make a cut here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to listen through this, and every single time that I know I'm going to be changing what footage is on screen, that's when I'm going to make a cut. Now, it can be helpful to actually see on the side what you actually recorded to remind yourself of how the playthrough went. So here's literally the folder of everything that I recorded. I think that, again, I only record things that I think are really important. And so if you were to watch the total runtime of all of these bits that are recorded on this, it'd probably only be a couple hours, even though the playthrough obviously took longer than that. So what I'm going to do is just have this off to the side on my other monitor here so I can see that the first thing I talk about is picking Pokemon, then stats, then we go to the trainers, and I'll just show you how that goes. We're going to have our cut button ready here. And you remember how, whenever we cut lines, it makes these little markers. And so it snaps to when we hover over cutting the picture, right? So this is why I like to do the audio editing in Premiere whenever possible. So watch this. Every time that I know I'm going to change the footage that would be on screen, I'm going to put a cut. So first it's picking a Pokemon, then we cut its stats, cut a trainer, cut a Bellsprout Tower, cut it Flying Gym, stuff like that. So right off the bat, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Chikorita with this service so that we can do the whole run with it. I replaced Chikorita so that my rival would have Typhlosion. I figured that it's probably the hardest for us to fight. I named him Weird Gastly. So right there is where I want to cut to stats, I believe? Yeah. Or Weird Gastel, as it fits, because that's hilarious. So while I get to the first gym, let me show you. And we're cutting there to show trainers, although that footage will likely be blacked out a little bit while I'm mostly just showing how Psywave works. So where's our next point where I'd be switching it? Psywave works. It will do 1 damage and 1/5 times our level rounded down. So at level 5, Psywave will do 1 to 7 damage. It also has a 1 in 5 chance of missing, and it's never super effective. I absolutely hate this move. It'll likely be our only move until level 27, until we find one of the very few TMs that we can use. When I finally get to the Bellsprout Tower, you can really... There we go, Bellsprout Tower. See just how annoying of a move Psywave is. Because of its low power points, low accuracy, and random damage, it's incredibly difficult to beat large numbers of Pokemon. I don't know if I could even beat the second gym leader with this, considering Bugsy has 3 Pokemon, and I won't be doing much damage, but we'll have to wait and see. After running around and healing after every trainer until I beat Bellsprout Tower, we're ready for Falconer in his Flying Gym. But even with Okay, this is where we're talking about Falconer. Wave, it's not that bad. We have Confused right now, so although Psywave is still super reliable, Falconer is a terrible trainer, so we still win. Pretty much any trainer at this point in the game. Okay, so we're kind of head to Slowpoke Well now. It'd be really annoying because of how easy it is to run out of power points, and that I don't have the option to run away if I run out. But I really do have to fight everything that I can if I'm going to stand a chance at the upcoming gym. At level 18, I decided... Okay, so we have Bug Gym now, and so when it comes to battles that are a little bit more complicated, then where I'm talking about each Pokemon that fainted and everything, then I like to do cuts in the battle based around how I'm going to show this. So Metapod and Kakuna were both kind of a breeze. I don't think I need to show each one of those individually, but we'll see how I word it. Try the Bug Gym again under the assumption that I'd lose, but that'd be worth trying. Metapod hit a few string shots and wasted 5 of our Psywaves, but never could hurt us. Kakuna in second. You know what? I actually do talk about one by one, so I'll cut there where we start talking about Kakuna. Although we only used 4 Psywaves on him, he did poison us, so we're losing health fast. Scyther's last. Okay, and then cut for Scyther. And he's trying to build Fairy Cutter like usual, so I confused him so that he hit himself so that he can't build power, and started using Psywave. I was absolutely shocked when, after some nice confusion luck, I ended up hitting 2 strong Psywaves and got the win. Rival time. Right away I confused Ghastly with Confuse Ray, and with some great luck, he hit himself twice, so we never got hit. Zoom at second, and it actually hits a super effective bite, but it hardly did anything. We got confused and hit ourselves though, so our health was about half when we took him out. Last is Quilava, and although my Psywaves were really weak at the start, he was also hitting himself in confusion. Things got bad when we finally got hit and it burned us, but our next Psywave finally got a good roll and took him out. When that done, I started hunting down... There we go. And I feel like you're pretty much getting the rhythm of this. It's not a very complicated part. This is actually the fastest part of the entire editing process. But we'll do just a little bit more. Tons of trainers around Goldenrod. It was a massive pain considering that we still do random damage, miss a lot, and don't have many power points. But that's exactly why I'm doing this. At level 27, we learn our only normal attack. Oh, this. At level 20... There we go, because that's where we learned Psywave, Psybeam, and I've got the footage of that here. So then after this is Normal Gym, then Kimono Girls. 7, we learn our only normal attacking move by level up, Psybeam. After that, I'm confident that I can beat Whitney's Normal Gym. Finally, we hit level 27 after taking out every last trainer in the area. Oh, nope, I actually started talking about it there. Okay, my bad. There we go. That's where I learned Psybeam. Learn
Psybeam and go to Whitney. 40 seconds after I start the fight, it's
over. I didn't
think I beat her that badly. I decided that I need more
Yeah, we destroyed Whitney. Levels
before I could take on Morty's Ghost Gem. So I went ahead and fought the Kimono Girls for the Surfeit Gem. I couldn't beat all of them though, since one of them
and we'll cut ahead here to the Umbreon. Uses
Umbreon and psychic moves don't work on dark types. I'll have to come back here after I get the Shadow Ball TM from Morty. I did well in the trainers in the Ghost Gym, so I decided
try Morty himself.
It actually goes incredibly well. His Gengar hit us really hard with Shadow Ball.
With uninteresting major fights, I won't cut around to each individual Pokemon in it. So like Morty, we basically swept. Either than
that, we swept him. Right after the fight, I replaced...
There we go. And did I... Yes, I did record myself getting Shadow Ball. Spite?
With Shadow Ball, so we finally have our same type attack bonus move. It's a shame that Ghost is always physical until Gen 4, though. Thanks to getting Shadow Ball, we can now
the trainer with
the Umbreon and get ourselves the Surfeit Gem. I go right to the Lighthouse to start on the...
Ooh, I got the Lighthouse. Yes, that
unlocks the Steel Gem. I know that I'm not ready for it, but I'll need levels from the trainers in the Lighthouse itself. After that, I go to Cyanwood and go to the
Fighting Gym, which was very easy. Fighting Gym.
As you'd expect, we make pretty short work of him. We're a Ghost using a Psychic move in a Fighting Gym. We have a pretty big advantage. The Steel Gym is the next one.
And then Steel Gym. There we go. And you can see we're already done like a third of this timeline already. We've done 5.5 minutes of a 16-minute video. Obviously, we haven't included any of the footage yet, but that's because that's the biggest day, is the insert footage day. This is a fairly short challenge in terms of runtime, so it shouldn't take too long to insert footage. But we'll save that for the next episode. Why I'm cutting these things into these specific segments of, you know, where I want the footage to be, why I'm doing it exactly this way, it'll make a lot of sense in the next episode. Again, there's a playlist in the description of this whole how I do these challenges series, in case you want to watch any of that and see more details on it. But until next time, have a nice day.